Hey everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Devon.
And today we're talking about a pod-centric episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is.
I will admit up front, I almost did not recognize Pod when they showed him the first time.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I'm glad they made a point of being like, this is Pod now. I'm like, good.
Yes. He looks like he's aged the most out of anyone here.
It's still the same actor though, right? They didn't swap him out.
It's the same actor. I think maybe his hair's darker. But
I bet you that's it. I feel like everyone's hair is darker now though.
The Lannisters definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's just a thing this season. Just darker hair.
As it gets colder in Westeros, your hair just gets darker. Unless you're a Targaryen.
Some of the Targaryens, I guess.
All right. So, if you haven't figured it out already, Devon and I are talking again about Game of Thrones. Second episode aired Easter Sunday, and we're talking about it. It is 11:30 on the East Coast, so it ended about an hour and a half ago.
And I just got to watch it.
Yes. So yeah. I don't know if they released the name of this episode yet, but the name for last week was Winterfell.
I think it's perfect, and they did release this one. Let me see. It was, I think it was called Night of the Seven Kingdoms or something.
Oh, was it?
Night of Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, it's called Night of Seven Kingdoms.
Ooh, that's a good title.
Yeah, because it's like that double entendre, like night with a K and night like night. Good job, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go on record, and I'm going to say that this episode reminded me so much of why I like Game of Thrones.
Okay. I really enjoyed this episode. It was it had one of the best moments in all of Game of Thrones. If this is the end of the road for some of these characters, it was worth it, and it was a worthy end for several people here.
I agree. And so for those of you who just saw the episode or didn't see it, what they're doing is, and it's cool, but it's scary. They're giving people's character arcs their ending. Not all of them, but a hell of a lot of them are now getting endings to their character arcs, which neat, but also oh no for next week.
I'm gonna go on the record and saying I am terrified for next week.
Yes,
it's not gonna be
because
they're
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be good. It's just gonna be bad. It's gonna get ugly real fast.
Yeah, well, and it's like what you said. We're I'm okay if this is where a lot of their stories end, which sucks because a lot of these reminded me of how much I really do give a shit about these characters.
And they made it so that they ended these, if this is the end of these arcs, you feel like it's not like they gave characters you don't really care about these moments. They gave characters that you've followed from season 1 or 2 these moments, like Brienne of Tarth. If this episode's named Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's because of her. This was the climax of her story, and
I'm gonna be honest, that made me cry.
It got me. That was one of the best scenes. That whole setup in the hall of Winterfell with everyone sitting around the fire drinking was one of the funniest and heartwarming scenes in the whole series.
Absolutely,
because it was. Tormund talking about how he got the name Giantsbane.
Which, fucking great.
I watched this with other people and we were all cracking up at that. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, but that was the greatest moment. And then Sir Davos is like, I think I'll have another drink then.
And I love it. It was like a great Davos moment, and it was also that great, you can tell Giantsbane was just showing off for Brienne because she was next to Jaime, so he's like, well, I got to step myself in here, which is what I wanted to see.
The only other it was such a weird love triangle, but I really wanted the Hound to come in too, just to have that dynamic going too. But we'll get into his bit in this episode later. But yeah, I love the scene with them all drinking around the fire. There's so much to unpack there. Do you want
Well,
to
and
start?
that gives me,
You want
yeah,
to
I mean, that
start?
gets me to one of my overall thoughts though of this episode. Just before I saw it, because I watched it maybe like 45 minutes after the rest of the world like saw it. I was flicking through those Facebook instant stories or whatever, and one of my Facebook friends went, "Okay, Game of Thrones, stop with the dumb talking and show me the Game of Thrones I love." And I went, "Oh no, I'm gonna hate this episode." But then I watched this episode and went, "No, this is the Game of Thrones I love."
Yes, this is definitely this is more Game of Thrones than the premiere was.
Agreed.
The premiere was getting your chess pieces in place. This
Yes.
episode was like finding your strategy, like figuring out everything, like planning your plan of attack.
Well, and they had, and they did an important thing where, I mean, they're all at Winterfell basically to die. We didn't see any King's Landing in this, no Cersei, nothing down there.
Yeah.
We just saw Winterfell the whole episode, and it was all of these characters basically knowing that they'll die tomorrow.
Yeah, there's such an impending sense of doom.
Yes.
It's like being in World War II London during the bombings.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's going to happen the next day.
And it's really what it felt like. And not to draw this comparison, but it did such a better job than like The Matrix did of this, oh my God, we're going to die tomorrow thing. So like,
no, that's fair. And when we say that, we're talking about the Matrix sequels, not the Matrix.
Exactly. What was this one? Revolution or something like that? The second one.
Yeah,
where they're like, we're going to die tomorrow. Here's a sex montage.
Yeah.
Which, like, I guess this could have been, but I'm so happy it wasn't.
Here's Lawrence Fishburne shirtless in a vest.
Things we didn't want to see ever. Sorry, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, you got to see a lot. Like we got the few reunions that we didn't get last week. We got Jorah and his cousin. I guess it's his cousin.
I guess so. Yeah.
Which was nice. Like it was quick, but it was just enough to be like, yeah, that's kind of how I thought that situation was going to go down.
Yep.
You got to see Gilly. Gilly came back.
Yeah, and I like that Bran was just there. Like she wasn't there last episode, but now she's just in Winterfell now.
Yeah, I like. Okay, so the episode opens with pretty much the trial of Jaime Lannister.
Oh yeah, well I want to talk about this.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll get back to the Hall of Winterfell and the fire and the wine. And,
yeah.
So it opens with the trial of Jaime Lannister, and it went pretty much the way I thought it was going to go. But I did not.
Really?
I forgot Brienne would be there. So
yeah,
I'm glad that she stood up and defended him.
It did a good job of showing all of the relationships that are built up this season or this series. So like, you know, where Sansa really trusts Brienne and all of her opinion and really how like she was right. It's really Jaime's fault, or not fault, but really Jaime to blame for Sansa being alive now, or to thank for that.
Yeah.
Which like, yeah, she's right. But my question to you then, and I thought about this, did Jaime get off too easy? Because there was like a little bit of a tense moment in this court, and then like he had his moment with Bran. It almost went the way we talked about it last week, though, where we were like, yeah, but none of this would have happened had he not been a dickhead. But like, was that okay, or did he get off too easy for the shit that he pulled?
I mean, he did it for the right reasons at the time. Like, I don't think anyone can fault him for being at war with the Starks or the Targaryens back when he killed the king.
And he mentioned that.
Yeah. So I think John put it best where he said, we need all the men we can get. I think it's kind of you get a pass this time, but watch yourself. Because they do need all the men they can get. So I think that's mostly why he got off so easy. And one of my favorite elements of that whole scene is like Sansa gives this whole speech about how she trusts Brienne, and Daenerys does this whole speech about how her brother would tell her the stories about this guy who killed her father, and then Jon's just like, holy fuck, my parents or who, and I fucked my aunt. Like he's just like so busy in his head figuring out what he just learned from
Yeah.
Sam. Like he's so distracted. He's like, we need all the people we can get, and then he just walks out.
Yep. I agree. I mean, and I love that moment though where he just walked out and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna go too."
Yeah. Because that's so like I like that we didn't get much Jon Snow in this. I feel like they could have gone very heavy into the Jon Snow, and I'm glad that they didn't. We got 3 scenes with him?
But the Jon Snow that we got was so effective. It was like it was almost like shorthand. It was exactly what we needed. And like things are moving along pretty fast this season. Like even though this was an episode where most people were just sitting around talking, like shit's kind of happening now.
I wanted to look it up for the show and try to find like the distance between Blackwater Bay and Winterfell to figure out how Theon got there so damn fast.
Yeah, after last season with the dragon getting there in like 8 minutes, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, like I mean, it doesn't bug me that much. I'm guessing that there's a time difference between what things are happening in King's Landing and what's happening in Winterfell.
There has to be.
Like I feel like King's Landing is a few weeks behind from last week, so he had like time to travel.
It might have been. That's kind of what I took too. Like, and at this point, I just stopped questioning. I'm like, all right, Game of Thrones, you got there. Like,
yeah, I'm not questioning it too much. It's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, like that was a little bit fast, but you got to get everyone in place when you only have 6 episodes.
Right. All right. So then I think the next scene that I really wanted to talk about was the scene between Sansa and Daenerys. Because I think that was like scene number 3 or some shit like that.
Yes, that scene. Because, why do you think Daenerys had that meeting? Do you think it's because, like, was there a reason she went in and talked to her? Like, I'm trying to remember if Jorah said something.
I think Jorah said it because Jorah goes, "There's another thing I want you to do," and then it cut to that. And I think that's what Jorah said. I think he's like, "Look, you gotta get Sansa on your side."
Yeah.
And she was almost fucking there, but Sansa brought up a good point that I forgot about, where the North isn't going to bow to anyone, including this queen that just is walking in. She's right, and this is going to be a major point of contention, I hope.
Yeah, I can also see it be like, who knows what's going to happen now that Daenerys knows about Jon. But I think that there can be something worked out where they can work together. Like there can still be a king in the North. And
I really hope they do.
But who knows?
Do you think if the whole Jon thing like doesn't become an issue, and if it's Daenerys, do you think she's not going to care that there's a king in the North, or do you think she's in it for all or nothing? Because it almost seems like she's in it for all or nothing. Because there's that moment in the crypt, and this is jumping to the end of the episode, where Jon Snow is like, "Look, this is who I am," and like you can see on Dany's face that like it seems like she's almost willing to like kill him over this. This is her whole life, and it's all ruined now.
I think the reveal for her is more earth-shattering than it was for Jon.
It has to be.
Because she, this whole time, is like, I am the rightful heir. And then, like, that was a fact to her.
Guess what?
But, like, she knew that. Jon never knew who his parents actually were. Like, he never knew who his mother was. But once he learned that, like, it makes sense. That, like, her finding out about Jon makes no sense to her. Like she's in shock. And I'm curious to see how they're going to work that into the next episode, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going down.
Also, congratulations, Game of Thrones, for making the White Walkers the thing I'm now least interested in.
Yes.
Because the second she told them about it, I was like, oh man, we're going to get into it. And then the White Walker showed up and I'm like, oh, these fucking guys. Like, and that they were like the big point of it for a while, so I thought I'd be more excited.
I think it's safe to say that Jon and Dany will survive next week.
Yes. I also, if we're gonna start keeping tallies of people who think will survive, I think Sansa's gonna be there too.
I think so. I think she's gonna be safe.
I think great.
We'll get at the end of the episode. We will talk about who we think will die, because I've got a list.
Good. Oh, do you really?
I've got at least 3 people I think are going to die.
Shit. Okay.
Okay, so I really like the dynamic between Sansa and Daenerys because you can tell that there is respect there, but it's just
Yes.
also we're just not giving you the North. Like that's a non-starter.
But like, good job, Sansa. Like, she's doing right by her people.
Mm-hmm.
That is what a good fucking leader does. I completely agree with her. I think that's great.
I I feel bad for Tyrion in this episode because
Yes.
he really gets shit on by Daenerys, and I
Mhm.
almost expected Jorah to be like, "Hey, I could be your hand. Like if you need to get rid," because Tyrion even says, "I feel like one of you will be wearing this pin soon."
Yep.
And I kind of expected Jorah to go the route of Tyrion's dangerous, you can't trust him. But I'm glad he went the way he did and
Good. Yeah.
putting his
Good guy,
support
Jorah
behind
here.
him. Because Tyrion is smart. Like
Yeah.
he's the only one who's like, hey Bran, why don't you tell me your story? Because I feel like it's important to know like what is going on.
Because it is like, good job.
Um, I really like
Do you
that.
think?
I'm glad they cut away from
Yeah.
it because I don't need to see that. Like
Right. But I'm glad that we now have a character that knows it. That's not Bran.
I was also kind of hoping that he would reveal Jon's true identity to Tyrion.
That would have been really interesting. But I think right now I like that it's only like four of them
Mm-hmm.
because I like that they can keep it more like I like that Daenerys and Jon can keep it more of a secret to control how it goes, or especially Daenerys because it gives her more power over that secret, and I think that that's going to do a good job of being a character foil for her, or more of like
Yeah.
a okay, what does this strong character do about this thing? And I like that.
I really don't want it to make her the bad guy. Like I don't want it to go that route. I want them to be able to work it out together because they do love each other
Yeah,
regardless. Like
right.
even though it's aunt and nephew.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, you think it's going to be one of those things where they're just like, we'll co-lead or we'll co,
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it could be that. I almost, yeah. There's just a lot that could go on that I really think is exciting.
Yes. Okay. So Jamie Lannister has like little reunions with everyone.
Yeah, he does, which is
So
good.
he has the moment with Bran under the tree
Yeah.
where
Which, I mean, he got off the same way I thought he would. Honestly, I thought Bran would go, you know what? I'm much better now. Kinda thanks.
if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the three-eyed raven.
But he's true. He's right.
Exactly.
Like,
And then he had his moment with. Okay, well, before we get off the Bran thing,
oh
um,
yeah.
what about the end of this? How do you know there's going to be an end? Like, how do you know we're going to win? Like,
Yeah.
Bran, like, I read a comment online. I'm not going to take credit for this, but who needs dragons when Bran is spitting all the fire? Like,
But it's so true
like
though.
even in the trial scene, he's just like the things we do for love, and then Jamie just stares at him like, "You little shit!" Like
But for
holy
real
hell,
though.
like that was
Yeah.
crazy. Like I hope Bran just has a moment like that every episode
Just
because
Bran
that will
snapping at
make
someone and then he's out.
that'll make the final season worth it. Like it's just him dropping a line every episode where he can mic drop.
I agree. That would be amazing.
And then we have Jamie with Tyrion, which we all figured that was going to happen. There's going to be a scene
And,
between the two of them.
and it went the same way I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it was nice. It was brotherly. They have a lot of respect for each other, and there isn't really any bad blood there. Great. Like neat.
I wasn't sure what was going on when Jamie left that conversation, though. Like he just kind of wanders off while Tyrion's monologuing.
Oh yeah.
I thought maybe that's when the Brotherhood and Tormund were arriving.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. Silly me didn't expect him to just be staring at Brienne of Tarth from a distance.
Yeah. How did you feel about his offer to her, and then her response to it? Because I thought it was I thought it was cool and kind of a fitting little thing where he's like, I want to be under your command. I thought that was neat. But then like the fact that she didn't just jump on it and she was like, and this other thing, and then moved on. I don't know if I loved that.
I think it was weird, like for both of them, because it was the first time where they had this. They were both could be friendly to each other without repercussions from other people.
Right.
Like every other time, it's like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm with the Lannisters and we're fighting your brother. Like we want your king. So
Yeah.
This is the first time where they're both on the same side. So you didn't have that tension. So once that tension's gone, it's just awkward. It's like it's like being in a fight with someone and then being locked in the back seat of a taxi cab with them for a long ride across town.
Right.
Like it's
right.
You got to say something, and like you have mutual respect for each other, but how do you show that without this tension?
Right.
So I feel like it was awkward, but it needed to be.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But I really liked that their reintroduction of Pod as a good fighter.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, I did not recognize him at first, but I don't know if it's just because of the winter gear, like he was like bulked up or something with all of that.
It was just nice to see him again, and he got that song, which was cool.
Oh my god! Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, okay, because we need to. Because I'll have some words.
So one of the most touching moments of the episode for me was Sir Davos serving the soup and the little girl with the scar.
Yeah.
That was so heartwarming to me. And she wants to fight, and he like it's just the parallels with the Baratheon girl. Like
yes, absolutely.
Like that was such a great scene for him. And I'm glad they gave him something to do, because without that connection, his character's just kind of been there. Like not really,
right.
Like he's there to be the hand of Jon, but he hasn't really had like an emotional story arc in a while since they.
And I'm glad they're giving him a little bit of one.
Yeah, since they threw out the Red Woman, like there hasn't been much, but I'm glad they finally went back and addressed that. But that's one of those moments that has me worried for next week.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and it's just one of those things where it solidified him as one of my favorite characters in this show. But I'm like, yeah, all right, he's coming all the way around now. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Gilly was good in that scene. What bugs me the most about this episode is how many times they said the crypts are the safest place.
Yes. I feel like they're gonna attack from the crypts or something, and it's not gonna be okay.
Here's my theory, and
okay.
Or do we want to wait until the end to talk about theories for next
Let's
week?
wait till the end to talk about theories. Let's just keep going through the episode.
I have a theory about the crypts that we'll get into.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So let's talk about. I'm trying to think what else happened. I think it's
the Arya thing.
Oh yeah, the Arya stuff. Let's talk about the Arya stuff.
All right. I'm gonna put this out here right now. The dialogue at that point read like fan fiction for me.
Okay, which point are we talking about?
The point where she and what's his name? Gendry were about to have sex. Like her dialogue leading right up to it was like, I bet some like gross old dude wrote this and I hate it. Because literally I was waiting for like porn music to come on in the background where she was like, how many women have you slept with? I need to know what it feels like before I die. Here are my breasts. I'm like, stop it. Like Game of Thrones, you're better than this.
At this, I can see where you're coming from with that, but at the same time, I feel like that's exactly how it would go for Arya, because she is so straightforward to the point.
You're right.
She's not going to beat around the bush.
Like, no, and she's nah. But no, I completely agree. But like, I was like, I don't know, it felt cringy a little bit, and I was like, all right.
You have to remember that they knew each other. There was even a spark back when they first met. Like they really respected each other. So this was kind of a long time coming.
Yeah.
Giggity. But that first scene between them when he's at the foundry, like working with the obsidian, the whole dynamic there, like that turn moment where she just like, I know death. I've seen the death has many faces, and starts throwing the daggers. And he's like, I'll get right on it. Like, I just loved how she took control of that scene. And like, he's talking down to her the whole time, thinking that this is just a little girl. Like, she wants to fight, but she shouldn't. Like, and then she just turns and like starts throwing those daggers, and the guy who's standing on the other side of the pole is like, what? Like, one dagger hits, the second hits, like, oh shit, I'm gonna move. Like, I just got to get out of here. I really like
she
that.
She is a badass. I
she
love
is.
that. Now, here's the part that worried me about that whole arc for her and its relation to her whole arc. So since the end of like season 1, she has been straight out for revenge, and her whole life has been kind of like about hatred and about like, I'm going to kill these people, and that seems to be like her main motivation. Now I feel like her motivation's changed, or she has something different to live for. And I feel like that's what that look was. There was like a brief like moment where you saw them laying in bed. Gendry was asleep and she was like wide-eyed, and it felt like to me she went, oh no, this means I have something completely different to live for now. And that worried me a little bit because of like, because I know like George R. R. Martin would never kill her off because he made a promise to his wife, but it almost made me feel like they could do it now, like in the game, in the show. Unless I read that scene totally wrong, which, you know what, I'm totally okay with.
No, I can see how you read it. I think the moment where she's on the castle with the Hound and then the guy from the Brotherhood, Ipadgy.
Yeah.
I don't know his
name. Ipadgy, yeah.
When she says he was on my list for a little bit, I think names have been taken off the list without being people being killed. I think the main people that need to be like on her list still are just the people who killed her family. So she took care of Filch, and then I think all that's left is Cersei.
Is that it?
Because I don't think Tyrion and Jaime were on the list, were they?
I don't think they were. I don't think so.
But I think it's just Cersei and the Mountain. Because I think at this point the Hound should be off of the list.
I mean, absolutely he should.
I just love their dynamic.
Oh, I do too. It's so much fun.
I can't wait to see them fight side by side. Like, that's gonna happen. There's gonna be a moment in the battle, like that's just gonna be something that happens. That'll be the Winter Soldier picking up Rocket Raccoon with the machine gun and spinning him around moment of next week.
I mean, absolutely it will.
Back to back. Not much Hound in this, but I'm good with that. Like, I don't need like any more, and it would have been too much.
I'm just honestly, I'm waiting around. I think I'm gonna go on record. I think he's gonna survive. I'm waiting for just him and the Mountain to fight because it needs to happen.
Yeah, like we need the Glagane Bowl. Like, I think that's what they're calling it. Like, that's gonna happen. Like, that's
well, and it has to.
I think once they go south, it will happen. I think he survives. I don't know how next week's gonna go down, but I know there's gonna be a group of people that survives because they're not gonna kill everyone off, and then the last 3 episodes just be about Cersei. Like, if that happens, I'm just gonna quit the show. Like, honestly,
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't care at that point if they do that. I don't think they will, but if they do, fuck them. I'm gonna go watch something else.
No, absolutely.
After next
week,
I'll
go keep watching Futurama or something.
I'll just go watch Endgame again because after next week it'll be out.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Okay, so let's get back to the fire scene.
Yes.
So the scene starts with Jaime and Tyrion talking about their dad and how great it would be if he could see them about to die in Winterfell, like defending the Starks. Like, I love that dynamic. Like, that the whole. I wish Dad was here. Like, the guy who killed his own father was like, I wish Dad was here to see this. Like,
right. Like, it was the good part.
Yeah, like, as much as he hated his father, you can still tell that there was love there.
Absolutely.
Like, I think he hated his father for what he did, but I think how he treated him. But I think there was still, like, I think he even said at one point that he hated that he had to kill his father, but he had to. Like, he was going to kill him.
Right. There was no other way for him to do it.
He didn't have a choice. And then Brienne and Pod come in. And my favorite moment of the episode was Brienne just being like, no, you can't drink. Like, we might have to fight at any moment. Half a cup. Yeah. And then Tyrion just fills the cup.
Just literally overflowing the cup.
And then just kind of winks at Pod.
So like, these are the kinds of interactions you want to see, though. Like,
yes. Like
And that's why I like this episode.
That's like the party before the wedding, like the night before the wedding, everyone just hanging out at the hotel, drinking and talking, like just having fun.
Not to keep bringing things back to the MCU, but it was like that part in Age of Ultron where they're all having that party, and Thor's like, "Try to lift my hammer."
Yeah,
and like they're all just having a good time with each other before you know that shit's gonna go down.
And that's like one of the best parts of Age of Ultron.
It like the only good part of Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's fair. The only good part of the movie of Age of Ultron, I will give the end credits with that statue. I will give that like props.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I was listening to my music earlier, and that score came on. I was like, oh, I want that statue. Like as much as I hate Age of Ultron, I would love to have a copy of that statue. Like
that would be pretty
for
cool.
as many posters and art that I have up on the walls, like that's the one statue piece that I want.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that would be cool.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember who comes in next. Is it Tormund?
Is it Tormund? Yes, because Jamie's already there. No, Davos, right?
Yeah,
Davos comes in next.
I feel like somebody came in with Davos, right?
No, I think he said I'd rather stay in here like being warm and die than like freezing my balls off out there. Yeah. I think he came in by himself.
Okay. And then Tormund comes in.
Yeah, and then Tormund comes in.
And he just gets that look to Brienne. Like I love that right away. He's like, is the big woman here? Like as soon as he gets
oh my gosh, yes.
The way where I was watching it, like we had the sound up so high that when he comes in to hug Jon Snow when they first arrive at Winterfell, we're like, what the hell was that? Like it just you could just feel it. Like you got hit by him too.
Oh yeah.
So like him coming in and just like flirting with Brienne and like having a pissing contest with Jamie.
Oh like, yeah, and it's perfect.
And the story about his origin, I don't think they had covered on the show before.
I don't think they have, and it's everything I want it to be.
Yeah, and I want it all to be true. Like I feel like it is.
It almost has to be. Like,
and then
I wouldn't be upset.
Davos is just like, I need more to drink. Like this is ridiculous. But
it's like good job.
One of the best moments of this whole show so far, and I don't think, but one of the best moments of this season, and I think it's going to be hard to beat this, was the whole knighthood conversation.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
They talk about Tormund says, if I was a king, I would have knighted you 10 times over. And Jamie has the realization, you don't need to be a king to knight someone. A knight can knight a knight.
Right.
Well, I just went cross-eyed saying that.
But like I didn't know that was that a rule that was established earlier in the show, because I don't remember that. But also like it totally it pans out, like it sounds about right.
I feel like it was at some point, but I don't know when.
Yeah. And like I was thinking about it because I was like, well, if a knight could knight someone, like why the fuck hasn't this happened before? But it makes sense that nobody would have knighted her.
Did somebody knight Bronn?
Maybe.
I feel like somebody had been knighted before by not a king.
Yeah. But like it makes sense that she wouldn't have been knighted up until this point, though.
Yeah.
Just because of how people treat her, like nobody had that much respect for her to say, you know what, you deserve this. They all kind of treat her as like oddity.
And it was to the point where she didn't want it anymore. Like she knew it was never gonna happen. She accepted it, and then he's like, no, come over here, like take a knee. Like
yeah. And
like there's this tension in the room, like she's hesitant and looks at Pod like she was looking at him training, and he's just like super happy. Like I'm almost surprised he didn't get a hard on, and his face will like all be covered by his giant dick. But because it was one of those moments where you're like, wow, this is actually happened. Like I felt such joy for her in that moment.
Yeah.
And then everyone stands up, even Tormund, who's like kind of hating Jamie this whole time. Yeah. Like he's excited for what's about to happen. Like,
right.
And he's like the first one to clap. And like when she got down on that knee and the sword touched her shoulder and he started knighting her, like I just lost it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Also phenomenal acting by that actor. I forget her name, but plays Brienne. Like phenomenal.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Amazing. Especially that end where she just smiles and you can tell it's everything she's ever wanted.
Yeah.
Like, even though she's been denying it, like she was just denying what she actually wanted to save herself the heartache. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like I'm gonna go back and
Yeah,
rewatch this episode from beginning to end.
I think it's worth it. Absolutely, I do.
I don't know if I'll have time next week before the premiere. Before the debut of the Battle of Winterfell. But
Yeah,
because I know I'm seeing Endgame again, and I'm not going to get home in time. Like
right.
it'll be pushing it,
Yeah.
and I'll have already been sitting for 3 hours. I don't know if I can commit another 3 hours to Game of Thrones, but you know what? I probably will.
I'll be
Um,
proud of you.
okay, so after that,
Hmm.
I was really glad nobody started singing the Rains of Castlemaine.
Yeah, no, me too.
Because I did not want to hear like that song is like I said to my sister today. I was like, if
Hmm.
Rain of Castlemaine plays at your wedding, I'm leaving. Like
Are you that mad about it?
I'm running out before I die. Y'all don't want to be at a wedding and hear Reigns of Castlemaine.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like I even told her like watching Game of Thrones this much lately, like I don't want to go to any weddings. Like it just ends badly for everyone.
Side note, someone from my improv class, he's watching it for the first time. He is one episode away from the Red Wedding. And he
Ooh.
started talking today. He's like, I think I know where it's going. I'm like, all right, just wait.
Yeah, you don't
It's
know.
just fun. All right, so how did you feel about the song that was in it though?
I
Because they did the trope that they did in Lord of the Rings, where everyone's preparing, everyone's having their like last moment, and like there's this one solo character singing a song over top of a montage of people.
I really liked it. I liked that it was Pod
Yes.
because this was a very Pod heavy episode, and I think we needed it because Pod's like one of those characters who doesn't get enough credit for anything because he doesn't really do much, but he's always been like he's had his great moments, like the whole moment where the horrors didn't make him pay.
Right. Right.
Like and him like Tyrion and Bronn just trying to figure out why, and then they're like, "Wait, no, like, no, it can't be. No, you think? No, like that's how that scene
He's like
went.
low key one of the best characters in this show.
Yeah. Um. No, I really liked it. Really liked it. I was trying to find the lyrics before we started, just because I wanted to go over them a little bit and get in the depth
Yeah.
with them.
What is the song called? Because it's gonna get added to my list of nerdy songs on Spotify, and I need to make sure I find it where else. Because Pod singing it was cool, but then during the credit sequence, they had that song again, and it was beautiful, and I want to listen to that again.
I believe it is called Jenny's Song.
Jenny's song.
Yes. Okay. It's mentioned a few times in A Song of Ice and Fire. It's called
in the books.
It's called Jenny of the Old Stones. In the books, the lyrics are not written out in full, so it's a bit of a new development to hear Pod sing the whole thing here. Here are those lyrics
cool.
in case you are wondering. All right, this is from the rap. High in the halls of kings who are gone, Jenny would dance with her ghosts. The ones she had lost, the ones she had found, the ones who had loved her most. The ones who've been gone for so very long, she couldn't remember their names. They spun her around on damp old stones, spun away her sorrow and pain. And she was never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave.
And I think that's so ominous for where we're at now. Because I think it sounds to me, the way I read it, the point of the song is that here she is, like, basically reliving the past and not wanting to give what's comfortable and what's great up about the past and never wanting to move on and face whatever her life is going to be. And I feel like part of that is where some of these characters are, or at least we are as an audience, where we're like, we are so comfortable with these characters now and who they are and their quirks. And this episode highlighted that. And now they got to leave. Like, now they got to go do what they were all destined to do. And some of that's going to really suck.
Yeah. I even think like just like that moment with Tyrion and Jaime in the Hall of Winterfell talking about how they used to fight the Starks and now they're here. Like the kings who are gone, Jenny would dance with their ghosts. Like they're everyone's in this castle preparing for this giant battle. Like it hit the nail right on the head. Like it was such a great moment, that montage with everyone. Because you had Sam and Gilly and Little Sam. Yep. I think to give him a better name than Little Sam.
Little Sam, whatever. I mean, it's fine. Sam will have Little Sam.
Then you had Tyrion or Theon and Sansa having their reunion in the courtyard, like reconnecting.
I don't think we talked about them too much this episode, but I really like that. I'm really happy that they're happy. I guess I don't know a better way to say that.
Here's a question for you. How do you see their dynamic at this point? Do you see it just as brother sister, or do you read more into it than that?
There was like a look during that, specifically the scene we're talking about now with the song, where it almost looked like more than that. But I think at this point it's not. I think that he is like the only person that's pure Team Sansa all the way, and she's just latching on to the one person that's like, all right, this is it. I mean, because I get Arya's Team Sansa a little bit too, but I feel like Sansa feels like she can't trust like Jon Snow anymore. She can't like completely trust Daenerys, but like this is the one person that goes, look, I walked all across, or like, you know, floated all up Westeros for you, like just for you.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I think she appreciates that.
I really like you had that great scene with Daenerys and Sansa.
Yeah.
And then Theon comes in right afterwards and like pretty much says, I'm here for you, Sansa. Like,
yes,
Daenerys, my queen, but I'm here for you, Sansa, if you'll have me.
Yes.
Like, I feel like that was really a strong moment for Theon.
Agreed.
Like, I'm glad that they had that in there. I'm trying to think.
And I've gone through such a roller coaster with him, and now I like love him.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else I had in the montage.
Oh man. Didn't it end? It ended with Jon and Daenerys in the crypts, I think.
Yes.
Who did it see? Who was before that?
Maybe it doesn't matter.
Oh, it showed what's his name? Grey Worm.
Oh yeah, that's right. With going into battle.
Yeah.
Like getting his men together.
We didn't talk too much about his scene though, because they were talking about. Scene. Yeah, he had a little bit where he talked about leaving or something.
Yeah, like after everything was over.
Yeah, which like good, because I feel like he's never really had a plot outside of like I'm a mercenary for hire, or like not a mercenary, but like Unsullied.
I'm Unsullied. I don't have a dick, but I know how to use my tongue. That's pretty much been his plot at this point. And I like that there's not too much of their relationship at this point. Like it's established that they're in love, and they want to be together. Mm-hmm. I just think
thematically it's a big deal that an Unsullied wants to do something other than war.
Yes,
I think that's cool.
Is. I don't think it's going to work out well for him.
I don't think it is either, honestly.
He's on my Deadpool. Like, honestly.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's not one of the top ones, but he's up there.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think that dynamic, like that scene alone, put him or her on there. One of them is going to die.
Okay.
If
interesting.
Not both. Okay, there's two more things we need to talk about.
Okay,
and they both involve Sam.
Good. All right.
There wasn't much Sam in this episode, but there was the perfect amount where he talks to Jon and the other Night's Watch guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I know the important people's names at this point. But they have that little Night's Watch reunion. Like they're the only three left from their graduating class. So they have that moment on top of the walls of Winterfell, looking out. I really like that they were on top of the castle, looking out and like watching everyone train. Like they're on the wall. Like this is the new wall now. Like they have to fight the walkers.
Yeah.
And Sam like lists everything that he's done. Like I was the first one to kill a White Walker, motherfucker. Like
I mean,
the hell?
He was though. Like good job.
The most important thing in that scene though, and the internet jumped on this right away because I was looking at Reddit before this, just for notes.
Yeah.
Did you see who was in that scene? They didn't address it at all, but did you see?
No. Who was in the scene?
Ghost.
Ghost was in the scene?
Ghost was standing there behind them. Like Ghost was there.
No shit.
Yeah, I'll send you a
Really?
picture of them. But Ghost was there.
Wow.
Don't
That's
know.
really cool.
I don't know where he came from, but he was there. I guess he came with the Night's Watch. I guess he was up there at the wall and came down.
So, all right, that's a really good point. What what other Yeah, he was there. I just saw it. All right, so what other dire wolves are still around then? You think they're going to play another part of it, or are they just
I
like,
It would be great if the one that Arya saw before she came to Winterfell last season came in
yeah.
and just attacked a bunch of White Walkers.
So, all right, that's a good.
That's wishful thinking. It's a little bit fan fictiony for me, but
Yeah. Well, so how much do they get into what Arya's direwolf is doing? Like, how much do they get into that in the show? Because in the book, her direwolf has this whole subplot about like starting from the bottom and working its way up as to like this leader of this huge pack of other wolves and like being this like alpha badass, which like I feel like has no place in the show.
they had
But like,
well, I think the one moment that they had with her where she saw her in the woods on her way
yeah,
back to Winterfell, I feel like that's hinting at that because she's surrounded by dire like
that's
wolves,
right.
and then she comes in and is like, "It's not you."
Yeah,
Like you're not you anymore. Like you're this leader now, and we're both two completely different people than we were when we first left Winterfell.
yeah.
Like we're completely different now.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that came back into play.
I'd be okay with that.
Because it's the whole you don't show a gun without using it thing. Like I think
Yeah.
everything that's happened up to this point in the show will have a purpose.
Okay.
And I think that has to be like I didn't know about that plot in the books, but since you told me
Mhm.
that, I'm pretty sure that they're going to come in at some point.
That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe not in the Battle of Winterfell, but who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, maybe like,
It's going to be 2 hours of something, so
is it really 2 hours next week?
it's going to be close to it.
That's
It's
awesome.
I think it's just short of 2 hours. It's going to be a feature length episode.
Wow.
That took
Oh,
them,
that's going to be so
it's going to
cool.
take them 53 weeks to shoot. Or
Good
no,
for
not
them.
53 weeks, 53 days. Did not take them over a year to shoot one scene.
It would be cool though.
Okay. So the other scene with Sam I wanted to talk about quickly before we get into our Deadpools and predictions for next week was him giving the sword to Jorah.
Yes.
I feel like that was really good closure for how they ended last week's episode with him finding about Daenerys killing his family.
Okay. This is where we might differ a little bit. I thought that was a little bit of a weak closure, but I as always am willing to be persuaded.
I feel like as much he might still have resentment towards Daenerys, but I know he respects Jorah because he was able to help Jorah with his grayscale. Jorah respects him, and I think at a certain point he realizes that there's nothing anyone could have done in that situation because he knows his family and he has this great weapon that's going to be useful in the battle. And the only person who doesn't really have a weapon is Jorah. So he might as well give it to somebody he respects instead of just having it sit there and not be used. Because Jorah can handle it. Like Jorah doesn't have his family sword. Jon has that.
Right. So wait, what is Sam doing during the battle? Is he going to be in the crypts too?
I feel I don't know.
I don't know if they talked about it.
They did. Like they told him he should be in the crypts, but then he's like, no, I killed. Like he listed off everything that he's done. So I don't know. He's with Gilly and Little Sam at the end of this. So I don't know if they're just sleeping before they go in the crypt or not.
Right. Now wait, who's gonna? So now that we know all this, who's gonna be with Bran? Because the dragons are gonna be with Bran, right?
From the dragons and the Theon and his men.
That's right, Theon and his men. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this gets into my predictions for next week. We need to talk about their whole battle plan.
Okay, good. Because I think you and I might have similar predictions based on some clues you've been dropping.
Okay. So Bran's going to be in the garden with the tree, waiting for the Night King. So from the sound of it, they're pretty much just letting the Night King come into Bran. and then they're going
Which
to attack.
makes sense. Because, I mean, what they said, if they cut off the head, the rest of the body might fall with it.
Yeah, so their whole plan makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about what's going to happen when the Night King gets past their defenses, because that's probably what's going to happen. I don't know what happens when the Night King and Bran come together. What I want to see happen is I want, like, the way I see this scene playing out is the Night King enters the forest and Bran's sitting there doing his Bran stare, because that's become like the best internet meme of the last week. Like, he's sitting there looking at the Night King. The Night King comes in. All the Theon's men draw their weapons, and then the Night King speaks, and then it cuts away to the actual battle. Like, I feel like the Night King's going to talk. Man. I feel like the Night King's going to say something.
I can see that, though.
I really want that to happen. So then they have the dragons there as well to take out the Night King. I see.
Will it work? Because that was a big question. It said the dragons might not work. I don't think the dragons are going to work. I think it's too easy.
Here's the problem. In all of their planning, they're planning for the Night King. They're planning for the Night King's army. They never said what their plan was for the Ice Dragon.
No, they never did.
They never addressed it. I don't know if they're expecting the dragon to, like, the Night King to come in on the dragon or not. They never mentioned that. Like, that's a big hole in your plan. Like, he has this dragon.
Right.
Like,
you got to deal with it.
That's got to come into play. Like, I don't know how, like, that's part of what has me worried about next week. Like, the fact that they did not bring that up at all in their battle plan is worrisome.
But it sounds like they do have, like, a big, like perimeter of fire that they're going to light if they fall back enough, which is neat. Like, cool, good thinking.
Yeah, they're definitely set up for as best as they can be, and I'm curious to see what happens. I like that the opening credits were showing how far the Night King's army has made it. I wanted to touch on that early on.
You did, yeah.
That's part of the reason I feel like next week's going to be horrible. Like, it's not going to go well. Like, it's Absolutely. Not going to be great at all. Like, people are going to die.
Do you think the tree is going to have any bearing on the Night King at all? Because they're going to meet in the Kingswood. The whole point of the Kingswood, and I don't know how much they hit this in the show. They hit it in the books hard. The whole point of the Kingswood is that the tree is a representation of the old gods, kind of the same one that the Night King has, or the Night King is, like, all about or from or whatever. And, like, it just seems thematically ironic that that's where they're going to try to bring him.
I feel like the tree's going to something's going to happen. That's going to be a very interesting scene.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that one.
I feel like that's going to be the end of the episode. I feel like they're going to end it there, like with the Night King.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be okay with that.
I feel like it's just going to be blood and guts until then.
It almost has to be. All right, so prediction.
Okay.
Like, for the battle itself, I think you touched on this a little earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think something's going to happen where they're going to be able to be in the crypts, and the crypts are going to be the least safe place ever.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's going to be devastating. But think about all of them. So we talked about people that we know will survive. Like, or not know, but we know will survive. Yeah. None of them are in the crypts. I think, honestly, if Tyrion dies, I won't be surprised, but I will be very sad. I think that, like, if Sam and was it Tilly, if they die, like, okay.
So, what do you think is going to happen in the crypts?
I can tell you what I want to happen, but I don't think it's what's going to happen. I think it would be cool if they found a way, or like the Night King or whatever found a way to reanimate the dead Starks.
That's what I think is going to happen.
And then, like, Sean Bean comes out and is like, "Remember that time I'm not dead for once?"
Nearly headless Ned.
Yeah, nearly headless. Like, I think that would be kind of cool, but, like, I almost don't know if that's too grotesque for this show. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's really hard to do because Ned Stark did lose his head. So how do you reanimate his body without his head?
Right. And then, like, Lyanna Stark, like, literally the linchpin of one of the major spoilers of this, how would we feel about having her back and killing her right away, or trying to kill her, or like
I think
her killing somebody?
I feel like it would be cool if you could hear their bodies trying to get out of the crypts but be trapped because they're in these tombs.
Yeah.
I feel like that
I
would
think,
be
yeah.
enough. I feel like anything else might be a little bit too much.
Yes. Agreed.
But I definitely think that the crypts are not going to be as safe as they think they are.
I completely agree.
And if Sam and Gilly are down there, I think one of them's going to die. I will. Do you have a Deadpool of who's going to die? Because I'm going to make a list of mine.
I could come up with one, and I want to come up with one because I think that we can do a decent job. So, do you have one listed that I can react to, or do you want me to start listing?
I think Sam's going to die.
I think Sam's going to die too. I'm right there with you.
I think them making the point about everything that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
I think him having Sam and Gilly there to protect, and him giving the sword to Jorah as a sign of respect. I feel like that was the end of his arc. He's played his role in this. I've been a fan of the theory of this whole thing has been him telling the story, but what if it's little Sam?
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think that's where they're going to go with it. I think Sam sacrifices himself to save everyone in the crypts. Family. Him and that little girl just defend the crypts and die.
That would be so cool. I mean, not cool, but cool. All right, will Tyrion survive? Because he does give that speech when they're sitting around the fire of, you know what, I think we're all going to live. Which sounds awfully like good words for someone who's going to die next episode.
I think he's going to live.
You think so?
Yes.
What role does he have to play still?
He's going to play a role in outsmarting Cersei.
Oh, you know what? I like that.
And there's been a lot of posts online comparing what happened in the premiere to a lot of things that have happened in the past on the show, like a lot of parallels with the first season. I saw a post comparing how people killed people and how they died. Mm-hmm. So the big one was Joffrey and the grandmother of like she poisoned Joffrey and then she's poisoned.
Yeah, all right.
The Red Wedding guy, I'm forgetting, what was it? The Tullys?
The Tullys, yeah.
They slit Catelyn Stark's throat. He got his throat slit. Tyrion killed Tywin with that crossbow. I don't think he dies until that crossbow comes back into play.
And we know where that crossbow is.
Yes. I don't think it'll be Bronn who does it. I hope it's not Bronn, but I feel like I think Tyrion's safe.
You know what? I'm totally behind that. I wasn't for a while, but I like the logic behind that enough for me to want Tyrion to die that way now not here.
Also, the shot with Jon, Daenerys, and Tyrion looking out over the wall as the White Walkers approach.
Yeah.
He's safe, and this show just keeps giving me reasons to think he's a Targaryen.
It does, and they need to reveal that.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping they would with Bran at the fire.
Oh, right.
Like, I really hope...
Maybe he does, though. Maybe he did, and, like, later he's going to be like, yo, guys, look what Bran said.
I feel like Bran's going to wait until afterwards. I feel like his big reveal's been done for now. But I feel
So you think Bran definitely survives?
Bran's in the middle. I don't know. I don't know where they go with him.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to get some time travel wibbly wobbly bullshit.
You think so?
I feel like we will. I feel like something's going to happen. We're going to get some visions next week.
Yeah.
Because it's so long. We have to have something there besides him just sitting in his chair staring off in the distance.
Just dropping one-liners.
He did an interview about why he looks off in the distance like that. Did you see it?
No. What did he say?
Real short. He wears glasses. He doesn't wear contacts ever. So when he's playing Bran, he can't wear his glasses. So he just can't see anything. So he just stares. And I guess at one point, Sophie Turner got freaked out by it. Like, they did a scene together, and she's like, "You were really staring into my soul. Like, that was terrifying. Like, is everything okay? Or are you mad at me or something?" He's like, "No, I just can't see what's going on."
I just can't see you.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
That's the reason for the Bran stare. Okay, who do you think's gonna die?
Brienne's done.
Yeah, she was next on my list.
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Like,
yeah,
I feel like she's on my list next to somebody else, and I feel like it's gonna be it's 60% Brienne's gonna die, 40% Jaime.
Jaime's not gonna die. I don't think he's gonna die. I think he has a role to play with Cersei still. I think that there needs to be more of that like sweet poetic justice. I think that he's still because he hasn't shaken the King Killer like moniker yet, and I think that's the end of his story arc.
I think it will be Brienne, but I think Jaime will have a big part in that scene. I feel like he's going to be there with her when she dies.
Agree.
Especially after tonight's episode, her being knighted and her arc coming to an end. I don't see the show ending with her and Jaime riding off into the sunset.
And it shouldn't.
And if anything, it won't even be her and Tormund, Giantsbane, running off into the distance.
Right.
To go suck the tit of a giant. I feel like tonight's episode was a great closure for her, and I feel like she's going to die. Like I'm gonna take Jaime off of that, but yeah, because you convinced me.
Yeah,
but yeah, Brienne is definitely.
Pod's alive though. I think Pod definitely survives.
I hope so. Like I want him to. I want him to fight for her, like in her honor, in her memory.
Yes, I like that a lot.
I'm
trying to think who else I might have on that list.
I have another.
You know what? I'm gonna be weird.
Okay, go for it.
Do you?
Yeah.
No, you tell me.
Okay. This one hurts me, but I'm gonna say
yeah.
Sir Davos.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't see him making it.
No. I mean, I don't think he has much of a plot, much of a purpose now. And I think that today's episode did a decent job of wrapping him up in a really nice way.
I think when he talks to that guy who says, we're not soldiers, and he says, I survived the Battle of Blackwater and the Battle of the Bastards. You'll be fine. And the moment with the little girl was just too good for closure. Like that was, if they could put that in a bow and like send it off with ribbon, they would have. Like,
it's perfect. Yep. And that kills me because he is one of my favorite characters, and it's gonna suck hard. But I completely agree with you. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think he is. All right, who else do you have?
All right, I want to be controversial with one of my picks. I'm gonna do it. Arya.
Okay.
And you can say no, and you'll fight me on this, and it'll be fine. I think it's it. I think she's gone. I think that the like thing she got today, I think that has a surprise in it.
Oh, it definitely does.
Because like she gave him like a specification. It wasn't just a spear. Like she would have just been like, "Hey, build me a spear," and he would have built her a spear. I think there's something more to it, but I think that something more is for her. Like is like an oh shit kind of emergency moment.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm fine being divisive. I'm fine if anyone listening to this hates it.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
Okay.
But I have my own opinion on this one. I think Gendry's going to die.
You think Gendry's going to... So what's Gendry doing during the fight?
He'll be fighting. He'll have his hammer.
Oh, we'll actually be fighting. Okay.
Yeah, he'll definitely be fighting. Because he's made all his weapons. There's no need for them to make more weapons. What they have is what they have. I think he's going to die. I think she's going to have the baby. I think she's gonna. You know how we talked about that secret pregnancy?
You think it's gonna be her?
I think it's her.
Interesting. Okay. You know what? I'm fine seeing who's right here.
Going back to the first episode, you have a daughter. I have a son. We will join our houses. Mm-hmm. That's how they join the houses. Nothing in this show was a mistake. It wasn't Joffrey and Sansa. It was Gendry and Arya. I think the awkwardness of that scene is because of that.
You know what? I like it, but I'm going to stick to my guns on this one.
One of us will be right. One of us will be wrong. We could both be right. We could both be wrong. We'll have to tune in next week to find out.
All right. I hope we're both right somehow.
All right. So my Deadpool All right. So
who do you have?
So
do you have anyone else?
I have Gendry, Sam, Brienne, Davos, and Grey Worm, which I think we already talked about. Grey Worm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all on board for Grey Worm. I think that he's gone. Damn, I liked him. Gonna survive? Jorah?
Oh no, Jorah's on my list. Jorah's dead.
Jorah's on your list?
Jorah's dead.
Jorah's dead?
Yeah.
Jorah's dead.
I think so.
I just thought of him, and I'm like, I mean, I think he had a really good ending to his storyline this week too, though.
I think
he was fighting to be so close to Dany this whole time, and now he's fine letting it play out as it is and understanding where his place is in all of this.
Yeah, and him getting that weapon, I think he might survive. Like, he's low on my list, but he's going to barely make it.
Yeah. I think he survives because they spent so long ridding him of grayscale. I think that if they're going to use grayscale again, they're also going to need him.
Yes.
And that's the only reason I think he's still around.
Okay. I also think that he dies and then the grayscale affects the White Walkers.
That would be cool. All right, we'll disagree on him for now.
Yeah.
But that would be really interesting.
Yeah. I have really crappy notes here, so we remember this for next week.
Good.
So who do you think's going to die? You said Arya?
I think Arya's going to die. Grey Worm's going to die. My mind was changed with Tyrion. I'm with you with Sam.
Okay.
And Davos.
Okay. It's going to be rough. Next weekend is just going to be crazy.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to throw in one more. I think a dragon is going to die.
A dragon?
Dragon. There's going to be one fewer dragon in the world, and not the ice one. I think the ice one's going to stick around.
Which one do you think is going to die? Drogon?
Is Rhaegar still around, or is he the ice one?
He's not the ice one.
Then Rhaegar. I think the one, because that was the one Dany rides, right?
Drogon's the one that Dany rides.
Okay. Then yes, I think Rhaegar's going to die. I think that's going to make it more interesting, because it would have been neat but a little lame if there were 3 normal dragons for 3 new Targaryens. You know what I mean? For Dany, Jon, and probably Tyrion. But I think that they're really going to play with that more than I think we think they are. And I think that there's going to be 1 and 3 Targaryens. Because I think I would be really mad if there was the 3 dragons and the 3 Targaryens and they all rode dragons into battle, and oh, isn't this a great fantasy novel? But I really think that there's just going to be 1 normal one left.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna act as a metaphor for which Targaryen is it? Because if Peter Dinklage finds out that he's a Targaryen, is he older than Jon Snow and therefore have a better claim to the throne? And if he does, is that even going to be a thing? Or are people just be it's Jon Snow anyway?
I never thought about the age thing.
Because I think he's technically older.
He would be older, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought about that with that theory. That kind of wants to make me disown the whole theory. I don't think he wants to be king either, though.
I don't think he does. I think he wants to be king less than Jon does. I think Jon will have it thrust upon him. I think Peter Dinklage will just be no. Tyrion will just say flat out, no, I don't want it. It's not me being humbled. This is just not a good deal for me.
Yeah. I think he's too smart to want it.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
Yeah. So there's going to be blood and guts next week. Okay. So next week's going to be a big weekend.
Yes, it is. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
We will. Might try to get a third voice in here for next week.
That would be cool.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't part of me wants to get Ryan to watch next week's episode.
Just flat out, to see what he thinks.
Yeah. Like
I think it'd be fun.
I feel like I might get him caught up with this episode, and then have like, for the premiere, just have him watch the Seth Meyers and Leslie Jones watch Game of Thrones thing.
Yes.
Because if you haven't checked that out, it's fantastic.
I haven't and need to.
But yeah, next week we're gonna have a lot to unpack, and it's gonna be a weekend.
I wonder who's gonna be right.
We're gonna be doing so many podcasts next weekend.
You know what? I'm not even mad.
I'm not either. Like, I think I'm going to spend more time podcasting than I am watching shit, which is saying something, because I'm seeing Endgame twice, so that's 6 hours, and then Game of Thrones is 2 hours. So,
it's going to be so good.
It's like I'm putting in a full shift at work next weekend just watching shit.
I can think of worse ways to spend the weekend, honestly.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a good weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, for You Have to Watch This podcast, Game of Thrones edition, I am Alan.
And I'm Devon.
She couldn't remember the names.
Yeah, you got it.
They spun her around on the damp old stones, spun away all her sorrow and pain. And she never wanted to leave. Never wanted to leave. Never wanted to leave. Never